Approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Burgess. Second. Trustee Raga. Roll call, please.
Trustee Raga.
Yes.
Trustee Bedford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes. Next item, approval of the minutes of August 18, 2020 of the regular board meeting minutes. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Trustee Burgess.
Second.
Trustee Benford. Roll call, please.
Trustee Raga.
Yes.
Trustee Bedford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes. Item B, approval of September 15, 2020 regular board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Trustee Burgess.
Second.
Trustee Raga. Roll call, please.
Trustee Raga.
Yes.
Trustee Bedford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes. The next item is a supervisor report. Good evening, trustees, elected officials, and residents. I would like to update the board as well as the residents of DuPage Township on the ongoing events of the township over the last 30 days. DuPage Township Food Pantry will be hosting a drive-through event at 241 Canterbury Lane next Monday, October 26th, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. All residents in need are welcome. We also received notification from Northern Illinois Food Bank that a food pantry picked up over 242,000 pounds of food last year. That's a lot of food. Our food crunch is gearing up for the coming holiday season. Our Thanksgiving meal kit giveaway is set for November 24th. Our staff and volunteers will pack and distribute over 700 meals kits to our food pantry clients. As well, the staff delivering over 300 meal kits to our seniors at Greenleaf, Mackenzie Falls, and Romeo Gardens. We are very excited to partner with Toys for Tots this year, and the food pantry, I'm told, we are looking for 400 gifts for the children. And also we have received donations from New Life Lutheran Church of $277. And we also received a donation from Family Foundation of $7,500 for the food pantry. So I'd like to thank the staff of the food pantry, Dave Lott, and the staff. The senior department has been very busy. Staff continues to do wellness checks with our senior citizens. Over 32 senior license sticker applications were processed. Our staff continues to assist with food stamp applications as well as assistance with medical, Medicare information packets. We are seeing an increase with our seniors visiting the center, attending various social distance activities, line dancing, exercise classes, bongo, bingo, and also Name the Tune, my favorite family tune. Also thank you to Lynn, Maureen, and Diane for a well job done. Our General Assistance Department has been busier than ever. Through our partnerships with the Will County Community for Concerns, Salvation Army, and charities, Catholic Charities, we're able to assist residents with all the financial needs. Thank you to Kimberly, Tracy for a job well done. Our maintenance department has done a fabulous job on the garden grounds. Please check out the new carpet at the 241 building and the freshly painted gazebo in the garden. So thank you to Bob, Roberto, and Tyrone. The banquet department has been working hard on rescheduling clients and finding alternative venues for the event. It has been difficult in the last minute changes due to the governor's order. Great job, Kelly. Last but not least, last month I indicated that we had applied to the Will County Kids Department. They receive funds from the federal government, and we applied to get a reimbursement for what we spent up to up to August 20th for the COVID-19. And we put in an application. We spent over $10,000, and we did receive a check this week, right? So thank you to Linda and Amy for doing the application. And I understand that they've started a new application again, and we'll be doing that also. So I'd like to thank all the departments. We're being busy. We're doing a lot of work like we should be doing for our residents in the township. Okay, that's the end of the Supervisor Report. We have some action items. The first, item A, approval of emergency pothole repairs for Buck Road, not to exceed $19,000. Buck Road has been a problem road for us, and we talked last meeting we talked about doing an RFP to redo the whole road. But, we'll have to wait till the spring to start that. In the meantime, we've been having a lot of potholes and complaints, and it's kind of dangerous, so we just like to repair the potholes until we do the whole road. So I need approval, a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Bridget,
Second.
Oliver, roll call please.
Trustee Raga.
Yes.
Trustee Bedford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver. Yes. Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes. Item D, approval of resolution 2017, approving an agreement for the provision of service between DuPage Township and Hazel House Global Charities. The program is Operation Thanksgiving for the Township fiscal year 2021. As you know, a food pantry also have a Thanksgiving program, but everybody in the township is not eligible. To be part of the Thanksgiving program, you have to be an existing client. And so there's a lot of people that would not fall into that category. People who got laid off recently or whatever. People who doesn't have a car, so we have a drive-up food pantry. So we'll be partnering with Hazel House Global Charities. So the sum is $3,000.
And that comes for food pantry? For food pantry?
No,
What is the 3,000 for?
the Thanksgiving, Operation Thanksgiving for Hazel Charities. It's coming out of social services.
Now, Hazel House, that is located in Plainfield, correct?
Yes, that's the address of the Plainfield, but most of the work is done in Romeyville and Bolingbrook.
But they do service people in Joliet and Plainfield as well?
Yeah, they do, yeah. So, for part of this agreement, they have to give us a list of all the people they serve. And then we got to make sure it's within the township. And we're going to compare it with some of our food pantry clients also, to make sure nobody double dipping. And the flat grant is $3,000. Can I have a motion?
Supervisor George?
Yes.
We also have Pastor Hudson on the phone, on the Zoom, as well, in case you wanted him to present. And just to help you summarize, since that came through the Social Services Committee. Yeah, he's on the Zoom. Our Thanksgiving Day event is usually on a Tuesday, and as you indicated, individuals have to drive up And so people that can't come on a Tuesday or do not have vehicles, when they present it to our committee, we talk to them about helping with the people that are also eligible for our food pantry program. However, if they can't come on Tuesdays and do not have a vehicle, those would be the individuals that they are able to assist with. And although their area covers more than just the Bolingbrook area, they would be helping us with the resident, or Bolingbrook Romeo, they would be helping us with those residents that are only specific to DuPage Township. So, but he is on the Zoom in case there are some more questions for him.
I have a question here. It's listed, the grant is for laptops, a mobile.
No, that's one
Two
not.
separate grants.
That's two separate
Okay,
grants.
it's mixed in here.
Yeah.
It's listed under this one, that's why I said it.
Yeah, I think they were asking about for 11,000, so we just give them 3,000.
Two separate grants.
Okay. So, can I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Benford? Yeah, for the 3,000.
Mix it all together.
Can I have a second? Second, trustee Ryder? Roll call, please.
Trustee Varga.
Yes.
I just want to clarify for trustee Benford to make the motion that it's for the 3,000, to approve and to allocate the expenditure, 3,000.
Yes, it's just for the
Okay, trustee Varga.
Yes.
Trustee Benford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes.
Yeah, I mixed it, that's why.
Okay, item C, approval of resolution 2018, approving an agreement for the provision of services between DuPage Township and Diaco Depot for the township fiscal year 2021.
So,
And they are also on the Zoom. I tried to make sure they were available in case they have
Yeah,
questions.
okay.
Do you want me to summarize that one as well?
No,
and I made the motion.
okay. Motion, trustee Burgess,
Second?
trustee Benford. Roll call, please.
Trustee Varga.
Yes.
Trustee Benford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Trustee Burgess. Supervisor George.
Yes. Okay, item D. Approval of resolution 2019, approving an agreement for the provision of services between DuPage Township and Hazel House Global Charity Employment Readiness Program for the township fiscal year. This one is for a flat grant of $5,000. Trustee Benford, would you speak on this?
Yes, this is for a job training program. So you guys are moving several organizations town called Power Connection. So that might help you from a general standpoint. The location of the program will be in Romeoville. This one is geared towards high school individuals, high school students, helping them get ready for with soft skills, teaching them interview skills. It also helps some recent graduates as far as learning how to use some of the Microsoft suites and products so that they're able to enter the work world. A part of our township code does allow us to provide job training programs, so this will help them leave high school and enter the work world. Hazel House happens to be the 501c3 organization that also is rolling out that program, and they are partnering with the high school as well. So it will be held in the area where they, most of you guys know Joe Johnson, ICE program, I think is one basketball program. It'll be housed in that particular area, so they're not asking for money for rent or anything. They're asking for assistance with laptops that they can obviously use on an ongoing basis, as well as, you know, some of the products that they need in order to roll out the program for the students. So similar to the power connection that we used to use at the high school, as well as to help the students with, you know, some of the other material and things that they need for the job training program. And that's a brief summary. Pastor Hudson again, who was in charge of the Bowling with 30 Association, is on the line giving you additional questions. And in your packet has all of their information, including their 501c3, as well as more information regarding the program. But that's a brief summary.
But as we've learned, we can't grant them money where they have an asset after we grant them money. Because we came up with football donation, they could buy equipment with it, but they could buy field rental, light rental. Here they're buying laptops, thumb drives, a modem, a printer, tables, chairs, and a TV set. We have to take all that out of the equation before we can grant them anything. Because they have this as an asset once it's over. This was explained to us in the youth committee. Also, that you can't have an asset on donated funds.
We're not giving them $12,000 to purchase all of their assets. I'm giving you an idea.
It says right here, the grant is
You
for.
want me to answer your question because you're over talking, so I'm trying to answer your question. You want to answer your question?
Yeah, I want to answer because right here it says the grant is for this, and this.
He gave us a full summary of what the budget is for. It's for $12,000, but we're purchasing more than just assets. So I was giving you a general idea of everything that their program includes. And we're not paying for the entire program. It says here they also need internet service, they also need room rental, they also have administrator stipends, they have also the resume and interview program, office manager. So in addition to the thumb drives and the modems, our resolution, if you read through it, it explains that the money that they use has to be within the township code. We're not giving them a full $12,000.
Yeah, but it says right here listed, grant is for laptops, thumb drives, printer, tables, chairs.
No, this is the budget for the whole.
And you just said the room rental was free. Here they list the room rental as $100 per week.
They're building, they're not paying for the entire building.
No. What we have here is the budget for the program, which is $12,000. And we're just contributing $5,000. That's all we do. Yeah.
And I apologize, I misspoke, it's a discounted room rate.
Yeah.
Because they are partnering with the Rocket, whatever, the ICE program, where Joe Johnson is located.
I would feel more comfortable if they listed out exactly what it is they want the township money for, because here it is, as Ken has mentioned, it's all lumped into what their grant is for. There should be something that shows what it is the township money is going to be for. Because otherwise, we're looking at a grant list here, a lot of things that we are not able to do, and we're giving $5,000. So I think it would be better to table this, have them come back and say, these are the items that the township money, with the taxpayers' money, would be paying for, these particular items, and then we see that it fits in within our code. But this is all just one big grant that is just general without exactly what it is in the township.
Because we asked them for their entire budget, so you want, so.
So basically, can I have a motion to approve this?
So he's on the phone, so you have a question for him?
He needs to come back and list what he's going to use the township funds for, because he can't purchase equipment, he can't have any asset with the township funds.
Right,
And it's listed here as he's going to have assets. I know we're not giving him the whole amount, but we, as you said, let me finish. We need to have a breakdown of what he's using the township $5,000 for.
Right, so
And we don't have that.
So what we can do now.
Just table this until we get the breakdown of what he's going to use our money for.
We can always adjust our resolution, if nobody signs.
What is wrong with tabling it until he can break this down?
He's given us the entire budget. All we have to do is adjust our resolution.
No, he's asking us for the funds. He can give us a breakdown of what he's going to use the township funds for.
He's still going to have to sign the resolution.
That's
He's
not what we're asking for.
We've asked everybody for it, so what we're doing is.
In my committee, we've had to send it back to them, and they have to come back with what they're going to use the township funds for.
Committee, This form, we ask people for their entire budget. So now what you're doing is what you used to do when they don't like an organization, you're changing the.
How are you saying we don't like the organization?
I'm explaining.
We're not allowed to have assets. They're not allowed to purchase assets. This is a purchase of an asset.
He asked him for, trustee Burke.
You have shown us that we cannot have an asset after we donate to someone. That they cannot use that to purchase an asset. And here you list, they're going to have an asset.
We asked the organization for a.
What is wrong with you table it until he can break down what he's going to use the township funds for?
We asked the organization for a copy of the current year budget. So.
Motion to
what
table
I'm
is to-
explaining
I
is
second
that
the
we
motion
should-
to table it.
I'm in the middle of a discussion.
There was a
We're in
motion
the
and a
middle of
second.
discussion.
Motion and a second.
Okay. Okay, so there's a
So
motion
we're
to
discriminating
table.
against the organization because we've asked them for a copy
There's a
of
motion
their
and a second
current
on
year
the table.
discussion. I
Okay,
mean, we've asked them for a copy of their current year budget, which is what we ask every
We are not
organization.
discriminating against them. There's a motion and a
Yes, we
second.
are.
So, there's a motion to table it. Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yeah.
No discussion after the second?
There's no discussion, I know.
No.
So now we're going to be all out of our.
No. I said there's a motion by Trustee Burgess and Trustee Oliver. That's what I said.
And
I
public
can call
comment
the
for
roll call,
later.
yes. There was no roll call. Okay, there could be discussion
Just a
now.
resolution to state what they can use the funds for.
You can
Okay,
discuss.
so now can we discuss it?
Yes.
Okay, so, every organization, we asked them for a copy of their current year budget. And all I was trying to explain to him is that we have a resolution. The resolution, this budget gives us everything. The resolution can clearly state what they can use the funds for, and then they sign that resolution stating, this is what you are able to use the $5,000 for. We've asked every organization for a copy of their current year budget in the 5 or 6 items that we've asked every organization for. So this organization has given us their current year budget, which is what we've asked for, and now we're going to send this back and say that we can't help them. That's the problem that we've had in the past. When we don't like an organization, we want to change the rules, which is why we now have this document that says, here's everything that we need. So they've given us this. And all we have to do is tell them what they are able to use the funds for. That's our job to explain that to them. It's not their job to know the town code, it's our job. And that's all our resolution needs to state, is what they are able to use the funds for.
And I believe it is well within our rights as the keepers of the money, of the taxpayers' money, to know exactly what it's being used for and that it's being used for correctly. So we're asking, we're not saying no, we're not disqualifying anyone. We're saying we'd like them to come back and tell us what it is that they want to use the $5,000 for. We had an issue with another organization that's still, to my best recollection, not been cleared up. And we are not going to keep going down this road. So, nobody has said no to them. Nobody has said they can't have the money. Nobody says that they don't respect the organization. What we are saying is if you're asking for $5,000, please come back and explain to us what you're going to use the $5,000 for. If Lynn asks me for $50, I want to know what she's going to do with that $50. You're overseeing the township taxpayers' money. I believe that that's what we're saying.
Any other discussion? Yes.
Just to clarify, to draw everyone's attention to the proposed agreement, there are specifics in the proposed agreement. I don't know, whatever the board wants to do is its prerogative, but at the same time, I do want to draw attention to the proposed resolution and the proposed agreement about this and how it was derived. And it does hold them to a pretty high standard, as we do now with all of these service partners. It includes provisions about them complying with the law, et cetera, but also goes through specifics as to what funds are supposed to be used for. So if the board needs any more information or questions about what's in the resolution and proposed agreement now, I can answer that. But I just wanted to clarify that because to make sure everyone, especially the agreement section 1 and 3 would be a good place to just review at this point.
Any other discussion?
as elected officials, we do have the right to ask for more information and have them come back. Am I right, Ross? That is within our legal right to say that we need more information to feel comfortable about voting, and that's what I intend to do, and I don't know about trustee Burgess. We want to be better keepers of money.
Any other discussion before we? Yes, trustee?
Yes, I'll read it because clearly it wasn't read. So it states exactly what the money will be used for. Resume writing, job application assistance, computer skill instruction and interview training with dress etiquette and tutoring. So that's what the funds will be used for.
Okay, roll call for the motion.
Trustee Ryder?
What are we, tabling it or motion?
This is the
Yeah, the motion to table again.
Yes.
Trustee Bedford?
no.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Supervisor George?
No. Any further? The motion passed, we have to the table. Okay, item E, approval of resolution 2020 authorizing the execution of compromise agreement to settle. Okay. Execution of a compromise agreement to settle outstanding tax objection claims. Resolution 2020 talked about, for the tax, it was a 3-year, there was a tax objection filed against the township for having excess funds in the GA. And it total, for those 3 years, it totaled for $105,000. And this has been in litigation, and our attorney for litigation, Mary Dixon, worked out an agreement. So instead of paying $102,761.78, we're going to settle it for $50,000. So that'll be behind us. The amount was for 2016, 2017, and 2018, those years.
So moved.
Trustee Burgess? Motion? Second?
Second.
Trustee Ryder? Any discussion?
Yes, I would actually like to ask if Ross, if the attorney could give a brief discussion of what this is, although I know by tomorrow it'll be a whole different story of what actually occurred, but if Ross can explain it for everyone.
Sure, absolutely. As the board recalls, we engaged Attorney Mary Dixon of Bondix and Conway to assist in defending the township against pending tax objection cases that are from the 2016, 2017, and 2018 tax years. These are, as was explained at the time and throughout those time periods, these are generally regularly experienced types of cases. They're class action cases brought on behalf of usually large corporate taxpayers, large corporate property owners, and they allege that there's a certain amount of excess accumulation, meaning the township taxed for things and didn't spend the money, or didn't spend enough money. In particular, this allegation was in regards to the General Assistance Fund. Now, this issue came down to a lot of, there's a lot of legal ambiguity with respect to the General Assistance Fund and how much money can be accumulated in that fund. Without getting too deep into the weeds, this is a very positive settlement, and frankly, many of these types of cases remain pending for years and years, in fact, sometimes decades. I've experienced cases that have been pending since 1999, for the 1999 tax year still, so that the township would be considering taking action and getting this done with and settled and finalized instead of kicking the can down the road, so to speak, for not only the next board, but maybe even the next board after that, it's a commendable action to be done and to really take a proactive step in this. And again, it's not necessarily anything bad that the township did. These are issues that, and these types of litigation arise all the time throughout the entire state. It kind of is, and considering that some of the rate objections go for millions of dollars, or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and way more than what was pending here for 3 years combined. This is something that is good to be put to rest, and then be cognizant of how the general assistance fund and all the township funds are managed in the future. I'm happy to answer any further questions, but that's kind of the gist.
I also read the lawsuit, and the lawsuit entails every single government body in Will County. It's not the township only. We have Valley View School District for a couple $1 million. The library was $500,000. Joliet Township was $300,000, and you could go on and on. New Lenox Township. It's millions of dollars. With the township portion was very small compared to the other governing bodies. So we just want to settle this, and so we don't kick the can down the road for the future boards, or so that's why we want to settle it. Can I have a motion to? Trustee Burchett, we had a motion already? Yeah. Okay, roll call.
Trustee Braga.
Yes.
Trustee Bedford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes. Thank you. Item F, approval of request for the use of the Levy Center for the Girl Scouts Troop 75-471 on December 6, 2020.
So moved.
Trustee Burgess. Trustee Oliver, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Braga.
Yes.
Trustee Bedford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver. Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes. Item G, approval of expenditure not to exceed $2,000 for the provision of winter coats to township residents in need and to be administered through the general assistance and food pantry.
So moved.
Trustee Burgess.
Second.
Trustee Oliver. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Braga.
Yes.
Trustee Bedford.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver. Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes. Item H, approval of scheduling and allocation of not more than $1,600 for general assistance, outreach, and assistance program called Taco Truck Program. This program came out of the Social Services Committee.
So moved.
Trustee Burgess,
Second.
Trustee Benford, second. Any discussion?
Yes, can you explain why we're spending $1,600 on the tacos?
Okay, Trustee Benford, we come out of the chair, Social Service Committee, could you explain that?
Yes,
Yeah,
this
program.
is one of the programs that the committee wanted to participate in some more outreach for some of our general assistance clients, emergency assistance clients that we haven't been able to communicate with, or have had restrictions on communication due to COVID. So, we haven't had a chance to have summer programs or things of that nature because of COVID. So, one of the ways that they wanted to try to reach out to them, in addition to the backpack program, was to have something similar to like a Taco Tuesday. So So to have a pop-up truck come out for maybe an hour or two and feed a whole family on a Tuesday evening. And so the amount was not to exceed $1,600. They're hoping it will probably cost $900 or so, but they didn't want to come back later and ask for an additional amount. We're going to have the families sign up in advance, so it's not like a truck will come out and it'll be a free-for-all. So it will be people that we have normally obviously serviced in the past, and they sign up like we typically do for our
So would it be a drive-up also? Would it be a drive-up? Would it be a drive-up?
Yeah, a drive-up.
Okay.
So just another way to try to reach out to our township residents and hopefully be able to also tell them about any other upcoming programs.
Do they have a date? Do they have a date?
We didn't want to pick a date
Oh.
because we didn't know if it would make it through the committee. So they wanted to make sure that that the board was okay with it before they got any further other than any quotes from 3 different vendors.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Raga,
Yes.
trustee Benford,
Yes.
trustee Oliver,
Yes.
did you say yes?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess,
Yes.
and Supervisor George.
Yes. Item 8, audit of bills and claims. Approval of township bills and claims for 9/11/20 through 10/15/20 in the amount of $140,082.62. Open payables is $32,651.89, and paid payables is $107,430.73.
So moved.
Trustee Burgess. Trustee Raga, second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Raga,
Yes.
trustee Benford,
Yes.
trustee Oliver,
Yes.
trustee Burgess,
Yes.
Supervisor George.
Yes. Okay, new business. A, review insurance proposal, property and casualty December 1st, 2020 through 2021. Workers' compensation, January 1st, 2021 to 2022. You have a copy of the insurance proposal? This come from Amy, right? Amy, you have any?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The increase overall is going to be 7.2%. Illinois County Risk Management Team is giving us a one-time credit of $30 to $90 to help offset that increase. That increase is due to a slight increase in our property values. An additional fleet added to we bought that truck last year. The main one is the deductible for the public officials and employment practice liability that increased from $5,000 to $15,000 due to claim activities. They're very pleased with the slight increase. Most municipalities are looking at a 10% or more increase, so they were expecting around there. So they were really pleased that they were able to find us the rates with 7.42 increase only with that credit. So the overall difference, I think, comes to just over $3,000 increase.
Any other comments?
Review or voting?
They're voting on the proposal.
Motion?
So moved.
Trustee Burgess? Second?
Second.
Trustee Benford?
Trustee Raga,
Yes.
Trustee Benford?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess? And Supervisor George?
Yes. Item B, Heritage Board's request for donation. Discussion with possible board action. This came out of the Social Service Committee. The Chair Benford, would you talk on this?
Yes, I know we're not asking for any monetary items right now, or any monetary amount. I'm still consulting with our legal counsel on if we can even handle the two requests. I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the board, and actually just to the attention of the public, that there are some items in need that both of the organizations in town are requesting. I had forwarded the emails, but they're not printed as part of the board packet, so I'm going to see if I can try to remember them in detail. I know one organization, I believe it's Meadowbrook Manor, because of the limit on having family members visit, they have family members can communicate via Zoom, and I believe they have maybe one iPad per floor, so they have been soliciting for potential, iPads or some other devices that would allow the residents to be able to talk to their family members more than one at a time. So I think that was one of their requests. And I believe Heritage Woods was looking for books and puzzles or things of that nature. We're not sure if there are things that we can do within the township code, and so we're just looking into it a little bit more. We just wanted to make that information available to the public in case there were people in the public that were interested in helping out the organizations as well. So that's why we left it on the agenda for now. But we'll come back, we'll bring it back to the board. It was one of the items that our committee received a request for last month.
So the same with Meadowbrook Manor, right? The same thing?
I think Meadowbrook Manor was the one that was looking for the iPads or something in order to communicate with family members. I think Heritage Woods was looking for puzzles and books.
Yeah. All right. So, item 11, reports from administrative staff and contractors. A, legal report, Township Attorney, Rob Seckler.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I will try to be brief. I just wanted to report and update the board and the public about the various things going on the legal side. We're assisting the township clerk as serving as the local election official in her official duties with respect to the upcoming township caucuses and the township's official role in that process and sending out notices to the various political parties, etc. And that has been going very well. And we're trying to do that early because getting into that and monitoring for the developments with the continuing nature of the COVID-19 pandemic, we really have no idea what is going to happen with respect to caucuses. So we want everyone involved, especially in terms of how the township is involved in coordinating any of those efforts, so everyone can have a plan and maybe even a backup plan beyond that as to what has to happen. We really have no guidance or knowledge as to what everything will look like on December 1st or right around there. So if the plan is if everything's going to go forward, we'll kind of take it as it comes. And with that, still monitoring for any ability to hold our annual town meeting, which we're still kind of unable to do so, and that it's not looking good. So given today's developments and the governor's instituting of additional mitigation efforts in York County and otherwise, and the general trend in the state, Midwest, and the country as a whole, it isn't good. But with that, we're monitoring and keeping everyone at the township updated, and just thanks everyone for keeping with us. Very happy with the agreements and partnership agreements that the township is going through. I've been working with Supervisor George and the township staff to get those done and get those, especially with the Operation Thanksgiving, on a timely manner to make sure that the township services are provided for, as well as I really, again, need to commend the board on the tax objection case settlement. It may seem very small, and these are just purely nuisance lawsuits, but it is a good step to be taking to get that done and over with, and really off the books, so to speak, so that the township can just be moving forward. I'm happy to answer any questions, but that would be the end of my report.
Thank you, Ross. Item B, senior report, Lynn Woodard.
Okay, well, you covered us, what? I'm sorry. Oh, I speak pretty loud. Hello. Felix, you pretty well covered all of our departments, but I will go over things that we are getting great participation with indoor activities, small group activities, obviously with masks and social distancing, and we have the sanitized station in the front, and we do, you know, the things that you mentioned, the bingo, bunko, exercise, line dancing, all that stuff. And I have been taking them out, mostly local. I did take them on the bus once. We are able to use half the capacity of the bus, so I took half of them out, and then some, you know, some care to just drive themselves. Like I said, I've been keeping it local, A, to support local businesses, B, because I can't take them too far, because I can't take that many. So, but they're fine with that. They come in, they do games, and I've been incorporating new games, trying to keep it in-house because of the fact that we're closed down to, you know, compared to what we used to do, we're pretty limited. So I've been just trying to create new ideas to bring them here, and they're happy with that. I had one today that was here, and this, you know, in light of the fact of all the new figures and mitigations that are going to be going into effect very soon. And she was like, please don't close the center. You know, I mean, they love to come here, you know, they really, really do. Some are still afraid. There's a lot that are still afraid to step out, and, you know, that's their prerogative, but there's very many that still like to come and, you know, be very active. So, that said, we're doing the best we can, and can only hope that it gets better moving forward.
Thank you, Lynn. Senior report, Maureen Fox.
Good evening. Sorry I was a few minutes late. I got past the time. Daughter had Girl Scouts, dance, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, you guys all know this. So, with that being said, today was essential oils. It went really well. I had 11 people, social distance, and I don't know much about essential oils. You could have come today and figured out a little bit more, which was kind of cool. So at any rate, I may look more into that. So with that being said, it's been pretty busy. I'm getting more busy with, we're starting to take intake for LIHEAP. Since LIHEAP isn't coming to the building, I'm going to start taking our seniors, so they don't have to go down to, you know, Joliet, you know, so on and so forth. So help them fill out their application, take their copies, so on and so forth. It's a process, but it's a process that makes their life a little easier. And if that's what we can do, it makes our life so much easier. So we've had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of LIHEAP applications, wellness checks, so on and so forth. I'm sure Supervisor George kind of went through that in the very beginning. But let me just touch some in the very beginning. I sit on social services, which is a great organization, and it leads by Alicia. But that's beside the point. Right now, and I understand your questions and things like that with the pastor about employment readiness program, but you guys had some very valid questions. So keep them coming, because it is a great program and he's extremely passionate about it. So keep those questions coming, because then it brings us back to the table to say, okay, we're missing this piece, we're missing that puzzle, we're missing this. So don't think that we just kind of pass it and just say, oh, it's done, done, done. It's not. It's a really great program, but we need, more thought process for it. So I appreciate that, okay? So let's bring those back to our table when we come back next month. And like I said, I really do appreciate it. Trying to think, anything else? I do. We've had several of our seniors stop by. We've had some that have struggled with depression, and so we're trying to put them in the right direction. Anything else from me? I know I'm talking longer than Lynn, which is normal, not normal. Anything? Enough said. Thank you.
That's fine. Item D, food pantry, report from Dave Love. Dave is not here.
Not here.
Hello, Dave.
It seems that Supervisor George stole my thunder at the beginning of the meeting.
Go ahead, repeat it.
We are having a food drive-through at the Levy Center on the 26th. That's Monday evening, from 4 until 6. Everybody is welcome. There's no paperwork needed. This is everybody is welcome. We're hoping to get enough food to have for 250 to 300 cars. I'll find that out later this week. Also, our Thanksgiving event is scheduled for the 26th. For the 24th, November 24th. That's a Tuesday. We usually start at 9 and that goes until 1. And then he also mentioned the 2 donations. We actually took in more than 2 donations this year. This past month. Close to about $8,200 for the month. So that's all I had. Any questions?
No questions. Thanks, Dave. Good job. E, General Assistant Report, Kimberly Owens.
Hi, good evening. General Assistance Department has been very busy. Tracy and myself have over 40 H2O applications, which is the program for the water program for any Illinois American water customers. Phone calls coming in, we are getting inundated with phone calls. We have had over 80 phone calls come in. We've had 40 in person also come into the facility. All of them are either requesting services, trying to find out what's out there for them, whether it's, are you doing a coach drive, what are you doing for Christmas, what are you doing for Thanksgiving. So families are interested, they are coming out. For this month, we have not had a chance to do any applications for Salvation Army. Thank you all to the board for the $2,000 for the coach drive, so I'll be processing that information soon and getting flyers out for that. Thanksgiving basket sign-ups, Tracy's very busy. That just started today for the seniors. She's taking care of the seniors sign up for Tracy has a 98 marriage license. And they're still coming. These calls are coming through. So we have a lot of lovebirds out here. So great job to you, Tracy. We also have a couple of families that I'm working with trying to get them on Social Security disability. That's a little time consuming, but we'll get there. That's a pretty long process. When it comes to the SNAP applications, thank you, Maureen, because you're really helping out a great deal. You're also helping out a great deal with the IE applications, because we're also doing it here. This week, I think we probably had maybe about 25 of them come in so far. So I know our pickup date is going to be on Friday, so I'm assuming we'll get more. Our SNAP applications this month, I have assisted with the process of earning SNAP applications and SNAP is the link our program. So we're very, very busy here. Taco truck, we're looking forward to that. Just we're busy here. One more thing before I leave. I'm partnering with DuPage Township is partnering with the Valley School District in a new program, and it's called She. Sisters helping each other. It's a new partnership, and this is just a small group of women we're starting off with. Just women trying to see what they need. Can we help them with their children? Let them know about some resources that are going on. I don't actually get to pick the families in the school. Actually, we'll be picking the families. We're going to try it out on the 27th this month via Zoom. So that's what they're doing.
Thanks, Kimberly. I just asked Human Resource Report, Amy, all right.
Hi.
I'm sorry.
Are you all done, Kim? Sorry.
No, go ahead, Judy. I thought Felix had said something. I'm sorry.
He said thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, hello. I had our quarterly meeting with our IT company last week. It feels that we're where we need to be with our IT stuff. We did think that there's a couple outdated computers that are in need of replacement that we'll start looking into. As Felix mentioned, we did receive that grant money, the $10,000 came last week. In order to receive that, we had to not only apply, but provide all the documentation of anything purchased that was COVID related. So we'll start gathering documents. Linda and myself will start gathering those documents for the next one. We did also receive a stimulus check from our carrier IPRF, which is Illinois Public Risk Fund, in the amount of $311 out of the $5 million, I believe that was approved. I already discussed the insurance that you all have approved for tonight, as far as the liability and casualty, but I am working on health, life, dental, and vision renewals. Our current carrier is working on getting us quotes. They did provide a quote for our dental and life, which had a 0% increase as of now. They're confident that they can get us a 5% discount off both of those if we add on a voluntary life insurance, so they're looking into those figures, but to my understanding, we'd only have to have 5 employees sign up for that voluntary life in order to get us the 5% discount. So for our next meeting, I should have those figures for us, or for the board. I also have had a few conference calls with our current payroll company, which is ADP. They also offer a total package now, which includes benefits for health, dental, life, all of that. So she's working on quotes. I'll actually be meeting with her on Friday. And everything provided to her. She's confident that she'll save us money. So I'm kind of curious to see how that will all play out, because it'll all be in one package as opposed to separate different insurance companies and carriers, and it's supposed to be more user-friendly to the employee. So I'll have those for the next board meeting. Those renewals are up December 1st and February 1st. So that's the end of my report.
Thanks, Amy. Management report, Kelly Lozada.
Oh, I shut that. I know you did. Hello. Can you hear me? Yes. Banquets have actually been slow. Obviously, I can't have as many events as we would like to. I've had 3 since the last board meeting, and 2 of them were outdoors. 1 was inside, and actually, when the first time we went back to 25 people, and I had called everybody from the end of August all the way through September just to give them a warning of what may come. So, and like Supervisor said, I was, helping brides relocate, calling other venues, even as far as Indiana, just trying to help them find another avenue. Being able to give them their refunds right away so that they can either continue to have their event somewhere else or just have the means to pay their bills that month, if they couldn't do anything else. So, anyway, when we were let out of jail, so to speak, back to the 50, one of the brides called and said, I heard we went back to the 50, can I come back home? so that was very sweet. So yeah, she had her wedding as usual. So other than that, I've got one for October and maybe possibly 2 more for November, December. But other than that.
Yeah. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Item 12, elected officials and advisory committee reports. A, assessor. The assessor is away on conference, has to do with the assessor. B, the clerk, is off sick today. C, the trustees, Alicia Benford.
Good evening, Supervisor. I have 2 committees, Accounting and Social Services. Our Accounting Committee next scheduled meeting would have been this coming Monday. You and I spoke on Friday, and we are canceling our meeting on Monday in light of the food pantry drive, so we will not be meeting. But just to give a brief update, I will be meeting tomorrow with Kim Owens and the General Assistance person from Troy Township. She will be over teaching, helping Kim some more with the General Assistance software Visual GA. Troy Township is the largest township in the state of Illinois, so they have obviously more General Assistance clients than anyone. And so they're helping to help us get up and running with the General Assistance software. And I will be involved so I can help with some of the procedure writing that's needed in order to clear up the remaining audit issue. So we will be meeting again in November for our accounting meeting. Social services, we've been hard at work. As you can see, most of the items we had to cover were on the agenda tonight, so I don't need to repeat a lot of those. They have been in the works, and so I want to thank both of those committees for all of their hard work. The only item there that I wanted to report is we are still working on scheduling the mobile food bus. As Kim reported, that bus has been in high demand. We've had it once for at least DuPage Township, and we are still trying to get it scheduled quarterly for Northern Illinois Food Bank to come out with a mobile food bus. So hopefully by next month we'll have some more dates scheduled for the mobile food bus. That concludes my report, Supervisor.
Okay, thank you. Ken Burgess.
The youth committee had a meeting last month, and going back brainstorming ideas what we can do this year due to COVID. There will be a lockdown. How we're gonna form like our agenda item we had last year.
Yeah.
Everyone's coming back on Monday at 6 p.m. We'll have our meeting. They're gonna come back with their ideas on how we can do this with social distancing, whether we do it in Zoom form or live at different dates. Concludes my report.
Trustee Oliver.
Okay, so I'm going to give a report from the senior committee from September. I had to miss the October one. I've had some medical issues and a biopsy, which kept me from being there with the seniors in October. The seniors are slowly coming back. I noticed that in September we had people sitting in the different corners, sitting away from the table. So they are coming back, but a lot of them also still have a lot of concerns about COVID. And we're trying to work to keep in touch with everyone. I'm happy to say a couple of them like to call me every once in a while. I'm happy to get those calls, and they communicate with me with cards too. And I've had, it's been a pleasure working with the seniors. So in the September meeting, we talked about switching our board appointments. We'd had some for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. We finally had decided that for the senior committee, each position that's held will be held for 1 year. So we have some new officers. Trish Stack is our new chair, and she'll be serving 1 year. We're very happy to have. Trish has a lot of township experience. She is our former township clerk. For Vice President, we have Kathy Wayne, and we're happy to have Kathy. She's done a lot of, been very active within our group. She put together a great, we're handing out the different ideas of what we're going to do. She put together a really great summary for that for the group, and we really appreciate Kathy's work. And our secretary is Rita Armstrong, and we really appreciate everybody that gives their time and wants to be a part of the group. We're working on new trips that people would like to take. A couple of them that have come up have been Mackinac Island that they love, German Fest, Greek Island Restaurant, the Four Winds Casino. Another one that they've come up with in Michigan is the entertainment on weekends at the winery. Looking for wineries now. So they have a lot of different ideas. Key West was even on there. So going through that of where the different places that they would like to see. I really thought twice about this next update, but I thought, you know what, the public has a right to know. So during our last meeting, that was the September one, Trustee Alicia Benford publicly stated that she's been exonerated of all complaints. And we do have recordings of this if anybody is interested. I would like to publicly explain tonight that that's not true. The trustees had not seen that report. It had not been made public to us, or it had not been made available to us yet, nor to herself, my understanding is. I don't know, Ross, if you showed it to her prior to that, but that should not have happened if it did. So we will be reading that report and going over that tonight, but since that was publicly said, I thought it should be publicly corrected.
Thank you.
Supervisor George, I'll speak to a couple of comments.
Dennis Ryder?
We have our next building committee meeting this Thursday, October 22nd, 7 o'clock. As you can tell, one of our biggest topics that we had is Bluff Road, and we kind of take up most of our meetings, and glad that the board approved the 19,000 to fix potholes, but we need to be really serious about considering what to do with Bluff Road and possibly repaving the whole thing. I mean, it costs money, but keep bottom is pretty busy with this Bluff Road. So, just so the board knows, we got to have for next year, obviously, some, you know, in the back of our head, what to do with Bluff Road. Start taking care of that, the guardrails, the road is falling apart. That is all.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Robert. Next item is public comment. Invitation to speak on any issues on the agenda or anything regarding township government. Limit to 1 3-minute comment per person. Any public comments? Okay.
Supervisor Woodbridge.
Hello?
Everybody.
Who's there?
Yes. I have a question.
Okay.
Life Lutheran. Can I ask a question about that in the public comments? About their grant?
Okay.
I would like to know what was the outcome of the grant, and I'm sorry, I did not hear it either.
The board approved it.
I'm sorry?
It was approved tonight.
It was approved?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me what the amount was, please?
With $2,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, I guess I just heard the coat drive and that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any? Trustee Reason?
I was the respondent, so yes, I had already spoken to our legal counsel prior to our executive session. So I was already aware of the outcome. So if the trustee spent a little bit more time reviewing her report prior to the meeting, instead of trying to figure out whatever attack she had on me, she'd be a little bit more prepared for the meeting. So I was already aware of what was going to be. I was already aware of whatever the attorney and I had already discussed. And so the comments I made were pertaining to my comments regarding the report and what was going to be discussed. Because I knew, because I had already been a part of that particular matter, so.
Well, that's what you
There
like
was
to-
nothing, there was no action to be taken. Just like there's no action on this agenda tonight, and I have the floor right now because I have my 3 minutes, and as you can see, she is still speaking. There was no action on the agenda last month, and there is no action on the agenda tonight. There was an investigation and there was a report, and I inquired about that report because I was the respondent to the report. So if we could just stop with all of the confusing allegations, we can get through doing the business of this township. And that, I'm finished with my public.
Any other public comments?
Supervisor, you have a comment.
Okay.
That's shocking. I hope that Ross Eckler, as the attorney for the township, will go ahead and state his remarks on that. Obviously, this is going to become a legal issue because she was not supposed to see any report or have that discussion or even discuss with the attorney what the outcome was. We have a lot of other paperwork here that would suggest otherwise. I would like to get back to the township. I'd like to get back to doing what we did before this whole 3-year situation took place. But we do need truth. We do need truth. There's a lot of mistruth out there. And I hope, Ross, for the sake of the attorney for your law firm, that will be cleared up, because that was a pretty big statement. We have that on tape now, and I know that you know that that was a very big one. So we'll have to follow up on that.
So my name is Debbie Savage, and I want to...
What's your name?
My name is Debbie Savage, and I would like to say that as a nurse for 30 years, I am extremely fearful for my safety here at your meeting. As you know, Will County, Kane County, DuPage County, and Will County are at mitigation efforts on Friday, and I am really concerned that as a group of people who run the township, we've got everybody with their mask off. Some people have had their mask off half the meeting. Other people with their mask under their nose. As a nurse, I must tell you, and everybody in our DuPage Township, that wearing your mask under your nose, you might as well not bother. There is absolutely no function to that because mucus comes out of your nose, and you are potentially infecting us. I have family members. I just heard of another person today who just during this meeting died of COVID. So you folks need to take this very seriously. Dr. Fauci and friends, I've been on conferences for a couple of weeks now. They say the next 12 weeks are going to be the darkest days of our pandemic. I can see why Will County is going up everywhere I go. This kind of behavior occurs. I know everybody's tired. I know everyone's sick of the pandemic. Lord knows I am too. You know, it's been 10 months. It should have been gone, or at least much better by now. But it's not. It's in full swing. It's only getting worse, and we do not want to be like Wisconsin, where it's 12% or more, because then our chances are extremely high of getting COVID. So some people are laughing in the room, and I might tell you that this is very serious when you've had people in your family and your life who have died. It's not a funny kind of thing. So please wear your mask over your nose because there is just no reason to wear the mask otherwise. And all you're doing is being disrespectful to the rest of the people in the room for you. The other thing is, when we are trying to listen on Zoom, I must tell you, we cannot hear you, Mr. Felix. I'm sorry, I don't know your last name. There is a microphone. That microphone needs to be close to you. I don't want to take my mask off, but I'm trying to do that so that people can hear me. So you need to get closer to there, and you need to talk loud, all of you, so that people on the Zoom call, they can hear you extremely well because you're sitting in front of the computer, but they really can't hear anyone else. And of course, if they're here, they're wanting to be involved in the DuPage Township, it would be nice if they could hear what's going on. You know, thank goodness I think one of you reiterated some of what you said, Felix, at the beginning, because honestly, we could not understand you. That's why I had to sit so much closer. So, one question I have is all these senior events that you're having. I know people are having a lot of mental health issues, people are lonely, people are sad, getting depressed, all these things. But what is your contact tracing plan in the event that one of your seniors gets this? Okay, are you keeping a name and address and phone number of all these people so that then you can help the health department contact trace when these people get sick? Thank you, and I pray they don't, God knows, and I hope none of you get it either. But again, I don't want it either. So I think those are my main points, but I just cannot reiterate firmly enough that the lax attitude you all have here of COVID, I'm going to be calling the health department because you're just not taking it seriously. And you, Felix, as a supervisor, you need to take charge. So, thank you.
So all I can say is about the microphone. We didn't have the microphone last meeting. We just have the microphone today, so we had complaints about the Zoom, so that's why we have 3 microphones. We didn't have it now.
But nobody can hear you, because you're too far away. You need to get the microphone closer to you, please, so people can hear you.
John Kraft, thanks for sterilizing part of the microphone before it went to different people. I'm here to clear a few things up that were mentioned in DuPage Township recently, in recent weeks. First, Mary Pot Olive. Oh wait, I do know how to pronounce your name, Mary Pat Oliver. Maybe you should think about that with your peers that work with you at every meeting. There was an allegation that we called Mary Pat Oliver a racist several times, but we never did that. I reviewed all of our articles, never once did we call you racist. That's fake news from a fake person that wrote it. We never called Mayor Pat Oliver a racist. We did, however, opine in an article about a paper written by an ethnicity scholar at the University of California, which explains that mispronouncing names can be a form of racial microaggression, and the act of learning names acknowledges their history and presence. I wish you would learn Trustee Benford's last name. It's not Ben Ford, or Benny Ford, or Ben Dashboard, as you put in some of your emails for FOIA requests. I got copies of this. The microaggressive behavior is clearly evident in numerous interactions on video during DuPage Township public meetings, and even in reported closed session meetings where you use the F word, torture, a couple times. Which leads me to another subject, non-disclosure agreements. You sign non-disclosure agreements. But I'm here to say that non-disclosure agreements are not valid with Illinois local governments, except with very few limited circumstances when you're talking about massive power plants and energy agreements and things like that that are proprietary. The proper thing to do would be refuse to sign an NDA if you're going to share the material you received after signing it. And not sign it is better than signing it and violating what you signed your name to. We urge the township to scrap all the NDAs they try to make people sign for. Finally, executive session. There is no provision in any law or the Constitution to prohibit any board member from discussing closed session information to any other person. They can go talk to a camera right when they leave closed session, recite word for word everything everybody said if they feel like it. There's also no provision in law permitting the public body to exact any punishment on any board member for discussing closed session information with other people. That decision is left up to the voters at the next election. And it's obvious this is election time, not for November, but for the spring election.
Time's up.
Because I'm waiting on the chairman. He runs the meeting, not you guys. The next election is in the spring, and all this fake crap coming out, it points to people trying to influence the next election. Thank you.
And I
Any other comments?
She's out of order.
Comments over?
No, you made a response, and I can
I
respond.
get more time.
I would like to say I am so.
I get more time.
He came in tonight.
Can I have more time to respond to that comment?
Because Ross
Can I have more time? Can I have more time to respond to her comments? I think you should get the trustee can call for second time for public comment. Everybody can talk about public comment. She's not making anything else. They want to sit down and let the member talk about public comment. You have to time and you take it up. Why don't you sit down and get on the line.
Retraction on your line.
I'm not retracting anything.
And I get that.
Everything I wrote was true.
No, Mr. Ross Sackler wrote a letter that if you comment, nothing happened.
You keep your mouth shut.
That was a lie.
Thank you. My name is Kirk Allen, and in regards to the time, I expect as much time as was given to one of the other speakers went well beyond the 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Excuse me?
3 minutes.
I'll let the chairman run this meeting. In over 11 years of dealing with local government issues, we've never seen such a volume of misinformation and lies being shared on social media as we have in this township. It appears Trustee Oliver has a new keyboard warrior trying to defend her. That person is mysteriously silent about the letter she received from us. This person's social media efforts appear to focus on nothing but lies, misinformation, and attacks on anyone that has stood up for the truth. Time to clear up some things. We've never touted ourselves as a watchdog site for Southern Illinois political scene. Any such claim is a lie. Our work as watchdogs is not political and spans the entire country. We do not give preference to leaks. We receive tips and investigate if those tips are valid, and if valid or not. Tips with validity, those get exposed. To date, not one person has disproven any of the facts. We typically post all supporting documents with each article, with the exception of those where traps are set to catch people in their lies. Those docs get published after people believe the lies and run their mouths attacking us. Anyone posting that we don't post docs is lying. The vast majority of our work needs no input from those violating the laws of this state. The public records prove the case. For example, this board never legally authorized health insurance for your former supervisor. Asking the fox why he is eating the chicken brings nothing to the table when we can clearly see the chicken in his mouth. While on the subject of your former supervisor, yes, the FBI was given the criminal investigation from the Bolingbrook PD. As we understand it, that investigation record contained thousands of documents in support of the allegation of violations of numerous laws. While I have less faith in the FBI now than I had several years ago, the fact remains the information your own local law enforcement investigated realized the magnitude of what took place and turned it over to the FBI. Of interest, the FBI did not say no to taking that case. While we all wish things like this get resolved rapidly, it was not until the end of last year a flooring company was indicted for crimes against public bodies that took place between 2008 and 2014. Nothing moves fast with the feds. For those claiming they asked us specifically what financial benefit we get and won't answer, that is another lie. Anyone who has ever asked knows the answer. Neither John nor myself receive any compensation from Edgar County Watchdogs. Zero. For those that think donations will get you a story, you're wrong. We make it crystal clear we're not here for hire. This is silly season and people are begging to dive into political catfights, and it's not going to happen with us. This is not what we do. Trustee Oliver, nothing has changed. You should resign as your false police reports and attempts of spreading misinformation shows your interest are not about the people of DuPage Township, but rather your personal agenda to attack one who stood up to the lies and illegal actions in this township. You are on the wrong side of the truth, and I welcome a public debate on every document you think is a criminal act, because you don't know what you're talking about. Thank you.
And your opinion.
Any other public comment?
That was my opinion. I just gave it.
Yes, and your opinion.
Prove me wrong.
And your opinion, sir.
Prove me wrong.
We have.
Keep running your mouth, go ahead. No more public comments? Okay, was there any email submissions? No, okay, there's no email submissions. Okay. Now we have a roll call to enter the closed session.
Trustee Raga?
Okay, section 2C1 and 2C11, litigation and appointment, employment, and compensation, discipline, and law. There are motion?
So moved.
Second. Raga? Roll call, please.
Trustee Raga?
Yes.
Trustee Bedford? Yes. Trustee Oliver? Yes. Trustee Burgess?
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
Supervisor
Report.
Excuse me?
I may give you your on-camera interview after we leave executive session.
I can't hear you.
I will give you your on-camera interview after we leave executive session.
I'm not sticking around for
Oh,
executive
too
session.
bad.
We'll set up a
We'll have a
meeting.
scoop. No,
We'll set up a meeting.
no,
You're afraid of a public meeting?
no, I'm gonna give you an on-camera interview, but you're leaving. Should stick around.
Do it right now.
That's what I'm here.